All right, real quick, two things. Sinners has officially made $200 million worldwide. That's great. But once again, urban people, you slow urban people, the break even number is 225. So hopefully by next weekend, May 9th, it should cross that number. Then, after that, you must ask yourself, how much profitability will this movie make after it crosses the 225 mark? But I'm not here for that. There's one part in the movie that I forgot to address, and it popped up again in my timeline. I too initially, when seeing Miss Annie, when Smoke shows up to the house, to Miss Annie's house, I too initially thought that was his mother. Okay, and because the first lines of the conversation were very ambiguous. Now I understood when he went to the gravesite. I'm like, okay, could have been a little brother, could have been a son. We initially thought, but when she was standing in the doorway, I'm like, okay, is this a aunt? Is mama? I did not think initially seeing that lovers, and it took about 10 lines for me to be like, oh, that's his woman. So I wasn't the only one that thought that. Let's go see what they say on Twitter. All right, so this person says, after seeing Sinners, I now see why people had such a strong reaction to people saying Annie seemed like Smoke's mother. Nothing about their dynamic gave mother and son. Those sentiments really are just based in the mammy archetype of full-size, dark-skinned black women. I disagree. We've grown up with movies where the dark, full-figured, dark-skinned woman was the sex pot and all this and that. So the whole mammy archetype, I get it, the whole Tom and Jerry thing, but not in this case. Like I said, it was extremely ambiguous the first 5 to 6 lines. And then once he walked inside the place, then it's like, okay, I guess that's his lady. So I wasn't the only one that seen it. So let's see, let's go here. Okay, I feel like this topic is being dragged beyond what was said. No one left the theater thinking she was his mom. The people who thought that only thought that for a few seconds. Exactly. It's very clear who she is to him after she's fully introduced. I agree. Extremely ambiguous in the first 5 to 6 lines of them talking. This person says the conversation was ambiguous. It could have been mother, son, sister, brother, or lovers. Once they started having sex, we clearly saw that it was people just bitching bitch. Okay. So then this one inserts she's Nigerian versus FBA. I don't deal with that stuff. Okay. He literally said daddy was here at the grave and proceeds to ask her why her, that once again, when he questions her religion or the practices, the spiritual doctrine, that wasn't until he got inside the house. Okay, because when he first pulls up, he brings little gift to the gravesite with the little handprint on the jar, and like I said, once he goes inside the house, that's when he's like, it didn't work. Why didn't it work for our son? Okay. This person says there was sexual tension in the first 10 seconds. These mofos just don't see beauty in thicker, dark-skinned women, so they only see mother. I wasn't the only one that thought it was like, huh? I wasn't the only one scratching my head at the very beginning. Here we go. Honestly, thought that when Smoke was visiting the grave, he was visiting his father's grave, and when Annie popped out, thought she was his sister or mother. But then things started making sense. Exactly. Here we go. Like fifth line exchange they have is him asking why the hoodoo couldn't save their baby. Also, they are very clearly similar in age. Exactly. Yeah, I think it was just the initial appearance, him coming home and her appearing in the doorway like a mom catching a teenager coming home from a late night out. But it's immediately obvious what's up once they speak. Exactly. Okay? So it wasn't just some of us. A lot of us thought this was kind of a weird situation here. Right? That's why I always side-eye brothers that say a woman gives auntie vibes. Okay. Okay, you went in with a point already in your mind because the things leading up to their scene definitely didn't give romance. I agree. It was clear afterwards, though. I agree. Okay, to be honest, I didn't even think Mary was a love interest on first sight. I thought she was a Karen about to get him in trouble, someone he ripped off or something. Wasn't until it was blatantly obvious when she talked about their intimacy. Some of us just aren't good at reading dynamics. It's not even about reading dynamics. Like I said, if you go back and rewatch the scene, literally when he's at the gravesite, there's no indication that they were lovers. It's not till they get inside the house and they get to actually talking. Then it's like, oh, all right, we're not crazy, and you're not going to make us feel crazy because we didn't pick up on these verbal and social cues from the onset. No, that's not the case. Okay. Let's see. I respect her and loved her role. She killed it, but is it disrespectful of me to not have known that she was his lover when she first appeared on screen? Exactly. I had to hear some dialogue to pick up their dynamic and chemistry. Why is that misogynistic? I can't process a film now. Exactly. Okay. Okay. I thought it was his sister because in the theater, I thought he asked her why her voodoo couldn't save Big Mama. So I guess there was a lot of chatter and he couldn't hear it correctly. Then he ended up bending her over. That's clearly not what I heard. Okay. Before the introduction of the baby's death, I thought he was visiting his father's grave. I automatically assumed that she was his mother by the way she was scolding him. I think that was the intention also. Okay. Once again, don't call us delayed or making us feel bad, because it was clearly not palpable at the very beginning of their scene. Okay. I didn't think mother, but I saw what it was when she had her back to him and bit her bottom lip slightly. I knew what it was then. Exactly. Once he got inside her house and they talked for a bit, then you realize what it was. The only woman on screen that he's had chemistry with is Haley and Tessa. I'm curious to see how Thomas Crown Affair turns out. Okay. She looked 10 to 15 years older than him initially. I thought she was anyone but his wife. She seemed so much older and mature than the other twins' love interest. Okay. All right. So once again, we're not crazy, but if you rewatch that scene, it wasn't very evident or palpable that they were lovers. Sorry, that's my little critique. Once again, Sinners has crossed $200 million worldwide and needs $25 million to officially break even. And then after that, we'll see how much money this movie will actually make for Warner Brothers. Y'all have a good one. Peace.